The topic for today's education conclave is education for the 21st century. We have three wonderful speakers ready to share their thoughts with you. To share his speech first, I would like to invite the Vice President Research and Research Relations and the Academic Ambassador for Elsevier India, Professor Dr. Sandeep Sanchetti. The floor is open, please.
Thank you, Ramani sir, Professor Abraham, Professor Singh, for setting the tone for this session. Very distinguished Narayan Murthy Saab, Ashank Desai Saab, and everyone who is present here on the dais and off the dais. A good afternoon to you. First of all, I'm very happy and excited to be part of this initiative where we are discussing about envisioning or education for the 21st century. Since time is short, I'll not lay any background or any other detail. I'll possibly come to the topic directly. This is something going to be very difficult in the sense that technology is changing everything in the world today and pretty fast. AI, for example, is evolving almost every day, and we don't know what it will end up with. And therefore, to see what can happen to education would be very difficult. Forget about the full century, but even for next 25 years, when we complete 100 years of our independence, I think draft a document that what should be achieved and what can be achieved will be difficult. So keep that in light. But please see that education is one which did not change much compared to everything else in the life for many, many years or maybe centuries, you can say. Education 1.0 was a Gurukul-like thing. 2.0 came with the books. 3.0 is currently what you can say was prevailing. And 4.0 with all AI and everything, what we call student-centric education, will be education 4.0. Education obviously is going to be moving in directions which other things have already seen. And I call that as 180-degree shift. What was happening earlier, exactly opposite of that will happen, possibly in many ways. You'll probably see that when I became a teacher in 1984, our intent was to cover the course. Now the intent is entirely on uncover the course, that why are we teaching this course? How is it relevant? Where will it be applied? And so on and so forth. We used to do the closed book, very secretive examinations on those times. Today it will be open book because life is an open book examination system. Just now we had press conference, questions which were asked were not known to any of the people on the other side, and that's an open book approach. So we have to teach them about open book. So please see the complete shift which is happening. Laboratories which were completely physical in nature will become electronic or virtual in nature. You will have the same experiment equipment, but you will remotely control it and can do it 24/7, use the facility 24/7, do it independently rather than a group of 4 or 10 or 5, whatever it may be. And these are the shifts which are happening in terms of what you can call the education. Education obviously is impacted also by certain elements. In India, we had a very simplistic view of education called teaching learning, that are we teaching, are they learning, are we giving them degrees, are they getting jobs? I think that used to be the intent of education for a long time. Unfortunately, that is misplaced. Education should not be limited to assimilation of information and dissemination of information. Education should go beyond. Assimilating is collecting, disseminating is distributing, but I said beyond basically means generating, and generating is research. Unfortunately, in India, we never had much of mindset for research. I belong to lots of NITs. I have headed 7 NITs, and I can tell you that there was a time some 10-15 years back in those NITs that someone is trying to do research, people will laugh at him or her, maybe saying that you are trying to show off that you are doing some research or you know something beyond normal. But today, we don't have to depend on the Western knowledge coming to us as a new knowledge or research or generation. We have to do it. So once again, we have to move away from teaching learning to generation, assimilation, dissemination, information to generation of information which is there. In the same vein, you probably know that today is a century or time of data. Data is everything, data is new oil and all that, knowledge century, everything we keep calling that. So data leads to information, and all the expertise is available here for data and information, as we see from the IT sector and others. Information leads to intelligence, but we have to still climb 3 more steps in the education system to make our students more enabled and more capable and make India a leader. And those 3 steps are: after intelligence. Intelligence is just extracting, oh, it's black, oh, it's going to work, it's not going to work. But you have to go to the next step called wisdom. Wisdom is when you can foresee what will work in future 5 years, 10 years down the line, and how should we make it implement or work on that. And that will help you generate something new. So wisdom is something which we should work. And then we should see that whatever we are doing has a relevance. Are we doing it only for sake of paperwork, that I get promotion, I get some position, or I get some distinction? Is it going to be of any relevance to the society or industry? When I say society, industry is included in that, and therefore the relevance has to be seen. Unfortunately, in the scientific and technology domain of the country today, we don't see much. They are far too away, moved from what you call the society or humanities or social sciences or their whatever these things. And the last thing, which is going to be more important, is going to be the impact. Can you do something which will be impactful? Even if it is relevant, it may be not impactful, and therefore impact. And by the way, I must tell you, that now that I work on the purely research domain, I should tell you that most of the funding which is coming to you or which is getting evaluated world over or in India is going to see the potential impact. Impact could be a patent, impact could be a technology transfer, impact could be a process or product, and impact could be a policy also. So there are many things by which you can measure impact, and now we are developing tools which can measure all of these parameters. So there are so many changes. So education should also encompass research by default. Research should not be a choice, it should be an important gradient which is there. When talking about the 21st century education, I must also tell you that it's going to be student-centric. There is a scheme called Academic Bank of Credit. I'm sure many of you have heard. Many of you have registered yourself. I was also one of them who worked very strongly for that particular element, and that's going to be purely student-centric. That means you can make your degrees yourself. I can actually call it designer's degree. Like when you go to eat in the restaurant, you tell various ingredients to be put or not to be put, or make it crisp or whatever. You go to boutique, you say that I want this button, this fashion, this pocket, whatever. You make your homes, you have your design element. Similarly, education is the most important thing, and you will have your designer's element in your education also, if you need. Not necessary that everyone has to do it, and therefore education can be, you can make your own degrees, you can make your own courses, you can pick your teachers within the Sai University. Already they are very flexible, but within Sai, let's say there are 2 teachers which are there, and you like one for whatever reason, that is Ascent is good, his examples are good, his case studies are good, you may possibly follow them. So you can pick teachers, you can pick timings also, that at what time you would like to study, and then you can pick the mode also, at what mode. That means the blended mode, online mode, audio mode, conversion mode, this mode, that mode, various things you can possibly do. So these things will vanish, and therefore you can say that the barriers of what you call language, time, place, mode, etc. also will vanish. There are so many things, my dear friends, which will keep happening. Technology is driving everything fast in last 2 centuries. Now these are not my words, these are the words which I heard from Mohandas Pai some time back, and I'm pretty impressed that the world has changed socially, politically, economically, financially, technologically, geographically, purely because of the technological changes coming, whether Europe is powerful or Japan or US or China or India. It has all happened because what is your technological prowess? And the same technology is going to play a role in education also. So I'm just possibly giving you 1 or 2 examples from my side. Number 1, there is a lot of talk about AI and lot of questions. Of course, everyone's mind is possibly boggling. But I must say that we should take it easy. It's a natural evolution. When I was a student, I remember that I was taught a word called AI, something on the subject called AI. Maybe it was too premature, too earlier than the expected time because the computers were not powerful, data was not there, and so on and so forth. So AI is something akin to what happened 100 years back. 100 years back, the machines, the motors, the hydraulics, and everything came. And what happened? Man became very comfortable. We don't have to do the physical power too much. Digging, lifting, all that happened through, all those big movements of physical requirements happened through the machines. So that was our physical power. 100 years down the line, the emergence of AI, please treat it as an emergence of the support to your mental power. You don't have to do the routine things. There was an example which was asked during the press conference that 80-page or 240-page judgment is there and it is to be translated into 22 languages. Possibly it will take 6 months or even more than that. But use this technological tool and you can do it in minutes together and everything will be available. Forget about translation. Who is going to read 240 pages very easily? Not easy. So AI can generate the gist of that, 2-page gist or 1-page gist for you, and you can immediately understand what is being talked about in that particular matter. So that's the power. So earlier we were supplemented by the physical power by the machines. Today we are supplemented by the mental power. But we will still continue to innovate. We'll continue to know a lot of new things. We'll continue to develop newer things because with machines we have not ceased to exist. It's a different matter that we don't do enough physical power, so we go to gyms and do the physical power there. We run on certain things or use certain machines. But I must say on the lighter side that use the mental power also wherever, otherwise you'll have to have the mental gyms later in times to come. But anyway, that's the power of the technology and it's going to impact the educational world because till now it has remained little untouched. So that's on the softer side of the education. I'll just give you the last example from my side. On the hardware side of the technology, if I can give. I'm an electronics engineer. Throughout, I have taught these subjects and all that, did a little bit of research also. So I foresee with the IT giants sitting here and with their own impressions and interest, possibly things like tools or physical things will come. One of them could be possibly a folded LCD or LED or whatever kind of screen they will develop will come. That screen will be my scrapbook, my class book, my homework book, my examination book. It will contain all the subject material, learning material, all audio-visual aids, all AR, VR or mixed reality things which are there. And it will be omni-connected, every time connected with anything in the world. That will be my library also. I can speak to any of my friends through that immediately, or my teacher also. Blogging will be available. And ultimately, that would be a single device which will be a foldable screen. So if I call this is my screen, I can fold it. And I can just carry one thing with me, and that will be enough for me to survive for my education, for anything which I require. And ultimately, this can also be a physical substitute, which will become your stool or sitting chair or table if you so wish. So that would be the power, and the power obviously consumed will be much lesser in times to come. So that will be the example of the hardware side where the education will be benefited by the technology. So I come to my last word possibly is that the education is going to not be limited to 25 years only. Till now, you have seen most of the 18 years get into the education system. At 25, they're expecting a job. Education is going to move from 25 to 75. And once it is doing so, obviously the population of learners will increase. So you can expect good enrollments in all the universities which are going to come in times to come. However, they may not sit in the class, they may do it offline or whatever other online and other modes which are there. So that's one change which is going to be there. The second change possibly you can say is EdTech will become powerful. EdTech companies have evolved for quite some time, more so in Corona. India had, people say, somewhere around 800 startups in EdTech space during Corona. Many have died, doesn't matter, that happens, but many have succeeded and will succeed. EdTech space will become very, very powerful because of that 25 to 75 age of learning, that you cannot go to class, you like to learn whatever you want to learn, may not be for certificate or whatever, but that will happen to you. And my last word before I close is, Many of you are teachers, many of you are already academic leaders or university vice chancellors. I was one, not anymore, and I must warn the vice chancellors or other such leaders or who are vying to become leaders is, unless we mend our ways in the 21st century and become technologically savvy and more flexible and adaptive and all that, we are going to lose our place. Reason for that is that education is not anymore going to be linked to that piece of paper called degree. It used to be very important. Universities had the power to give that piece of paper called degree. The edtech companies did not have or do not have right now that power. But eventually you will see as the time moves by that that power will not be of great use. As long as you are able to deliver your skill, your work in a certain fashion, you will probably be employed and taken for whatever given job, irrespective of your degree. So this is a kind of a small warning in 21st century for the universities and colleges that they must also adopt fast all the changes which are going to come. With this, I'd like to conclude. Thank you so much, Ramani sir, for this opportunity. Thank you all of you for your patient hearing. Namaskar.